What is up, amigos? Hope you're doing awesome. There are films made just to entertain, and there are films made to disturb your peace. Narivetta belongs to the second kind. Back in 2003, a very real and horrifying event happened in Wayanad, Kerala. Adivasi protesters demanding land rights were met with brutal police action. A protester was shot dead. A policeman died too. What started as a cry for basic dignity ended in a bloodbath. That was the Muthanga incident. An incident that most of the country has forgotten, but one that shaped the identity struggle of tribal communities in Kerala. Now, more than 2 decades later, Narivetta doesn't just dramatize the event, it puts you in the middle of it, makes you question who the real enemy is, and shows how justice can be manufactured and manipulated. Leading this haunting journey is Tovino Thomas, an actor who started off in rom-coms and gradually built a powerful career, whether it was Mayanad, Kala, Virus, Minal Murli, or the floods of 2018. Tovino has always been a mix of charm and intensity, but in Narivetta he goes one step further. He lets go of that charming image and embraces rawness, flaws, confusion, guilt, and helplessness. This might be his most matured and broken performance yet. So Narivetta begins in the dense, green landscapes of Wayanad, Kerala, a place often associated with peace, nature, tribal heritage. But beneath that calm exterior lies a brewing tension. Adivasi communities who have lived off these lands for generations find themselves in a constant battle to protect their homes, their dignity, and their very existence. Into this setting walks Varghese Peter, or Peter Varghese, a young man without direction. He's educated but unemployed, proud but dependent, and caught between his aspirations and reality. He doesn't dream of becoming a cop. He isn't chasing justice or glory. He's simply trying to escape the poverty and shame that has defined his life so far. But the Kerala police job isn't just a job. It's an entry into a world that's far more complicated than he imagined. He's posted in a region where tribal unrest is on the rise. Protesters are demanding basic rights, land, food, and safety. The police, however, are under pressure to restore order, and Varghese, the reluctant recruit, finds himself on the front lines of a very uncomfortable war. What begins as a job soon turns into a personal reckoning. Varghese observes the power from the inside, how it manipulates truth, manufactures enemies, and silences dissent. He meets colleagues who are kind and wise, but also ones who are cunning and cruel. He sees the tribal communities not as protesters but as people with stories, families, and pain. The film doesn't throw you into action or drama right away. It takes its time establishing the bureaucracy, the hierarchy, the mistrust between the police and the people. It introduces characters with layers and relationships with undercurrents. There's an eerie quietness in how the plot moves forward. Every scene is like a ticking clock, and just when you think things might settle, the atmosphere shifts. What was already tense turns dangerous. Allegations begin to fly. Rumors of Maoist presence start making rounds. The central government steps in, special forces are deployed, and Varghese, who once thought his biggest challenge was finding a stable career, now stands at the center of a storm that could destroy everything that he believes in. Narivetta builds its plot not just through events, but through mood, through silences, through glances, through questions that are never fully answered. It makes you observe what's happening around Varghese and what's happening within him. By the time the story moves towards its climax, you're not just watching the film, you're emotionally invested in every character's fate. Now, Tovino Thomas as Varghese is the heart of this film. You feel his confusion, his guilt, his gradual awakening. In one particular moment when he finds a loved one gone, his expression says more than any dialogue ever could. Suraj Venjaramoodu as Bashir is incredible. He plays the wise, older constable who becomes like an elder brother to Varghese. Calm, grounded, and full of life lessons. His absence in the second half of the film hits you really hard. Cheran plays the senior officer DIG Raghu Raghuram Kesavdas. This is his Malayalam debut, and what a powerful one. At first, he seems reasonable and firm, but slowly his true face as a manipulative and ruthless officer is revealed. He becomes the symbol of a corrupt system that sacrifices its own people for political gains. Arya Salim, inspired by real-life tribal activist C.K. Janu, plays a jailed tribal leader with strength and quiet dignity. Her scenes with Varghese toward the end are emotionally powerful and politically sharp. Director Anuraj Manohar handles the story with remarkable restraint. He doesn't try to be too flashy. He doesn't make heroes or villains in the traditional sense. He just shows what happens when the state decides to crush resistance. The writing by Abin Joseph ensures that every scene carries weight. Nothing is random or a filler. There is no melodrama here, just quiet horror, like when the tribals accuse the police of poisoning their water, or when children become collateral damage in a clash between boots and bare feet. Scenes like these hit hard because they feel so real, so possible, even today. Now, Vijay's cinematography captures the forests of Wayanad beautifully, but also painfully. The visuals aren't there to soothe you. They show the contrast between natural beauty and human cruelty. Even in peaceful shots, there's a sense of tension. Jakes Bijoy's background music doesn't overpower. It lingers like a ghost. It's used wisely, especially during the interrogation scenes and the massacre sequence, where silence and sound go hand in hand to punch your gut. What Narivetta does best is expose how narratives are built. A tribal community asking for land becomes Maoist influence. A senior cop murdered by someone unknown becomes a tribal crime, and the state, it gets to act like a hero for cleaning up the mess it created in the first place. This is not fiction. This is how propaganda works. The film questions how easily we allow ourselves to believe what the media and the government feeds us. It questions our silence. It shows us that even a low-level constable can become a threat to the system if he dares to speak the truth. The climax of Narivetta is not one of loud victory. It is a quiet scream. You don't walk out of the film clapping. You walk out thinking about whose stories are heard and whose are erased, thinking about how systems protect the powerful even when they're wrong, thinking about the cost of doing the right thing. Narivetta is not just a film, it's a mirror held up to our faces. It asks, how far will you go to protect the truth? And what will it cost you? For Tovino Thomas, this might just be the most honest performance. For Malayalam cinema, this is another bold step into political storytelling. And for us, the audience, it is a reminder. The lines between hero and villain, between justice and crime, are sometimes drawn in blood and then wiped clean by power. If you're someone who likes films that make you think and feel, not just during the runtime but days after, it's time you watched Narivetta. If you liked this video, please do like, share, comment and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching us today. Take care, stay awesome, and bye-bye.